Fancy Freaks! Fancy Freaks, are you on?
Indeed I am.
Remember what you told me about how you could help me beat an evil dark monster thing?
Oh yes, of course. I'm so glad to see you took up my quest.
Yeah, well, I could use that information right about now.
For your next task, actually defeating the creature, you must be prepared to do what you know you must do, but are dreading to do.
Can you just talk normal, please?
Well, I could try. Do your best. You can do it. Gambate!
Do your best. That's it.
Well, you know, I kind of got rid of that whole, cultish prophecy thing. I'm a bobber because there's some sort of drama going on in the cult of nerdiness, and I didn't really want to take sides, so, you know.
So, wait a minute. What you're saying is that there's a whole group of people that know who this monster is, they know that I'm fighting it, and you're saying you had a book with clues on how to defeat it, and you got rid of it due to some stupid internal drama?
Yes, 100%. You are correct, sir.
Well, do you have any other advice? I don't know, something maybe useful?
I would put it in the box.
You'd ship it?
Yes.
Where is that box?
Where else would it be? It's at the studio.
Let's do this.
Look, Ma, I made a video.
Great people to Reforma, I am Fedra, and welcome to the other episode of The Fedra Show. In this show, I, the mighty Fedra, will be taking a look at media from across the world. But to start us all off, let's look at where this all began. Let's look at who's inspired me to be the awesome, amazing, mighty, talented, super good-looking and fabulous, evil, monster-fighting internet reviewer I am today. What's that you say? I'm not there yet. Well, I have one thing to say to you. Get out! Good. All the haters gone? Great. So now let's get into this. I'm going to give you the top 7 internet reviewers. Why top 7? Because I'm lazy. Number 7, Mike Jeeves. Most people know him as Mike J, or that British nostalgia critic ripoff, or the guy that ate nothing but 80-cent meals for a week. But whatever you call him, Mike J remains one of my favorite internet reviewers. With his suit jacket, mug of tea, British accent, and catchphrase, Mike J reviews and criticizes terrible sequels to movies in his series, Shameful Sequels. This series admittedly is my favorite series of his. More than that though, Mike J also does something I've not seen before. He actually reviews infomercial products in his show Infomercialism. Ever wanted to know if an Easy Bake Oven really works? Or are you curious about the sham wow? Or do you just want to watch a man eat nothing but cheap frozen dinners for a week? Mike J has you covered on all of those fronts. The last awesome thing about Mike J is he is actually on channel Awesome, which makes it a really nice surprise when he makes an appearance in someone else's video. I can say, hey, I know that guy. So if you've got time where you're curious about a product, Mike J is definitely worth a watch. Number 6, Icarus. Icarus, or Caddy for short, was introduced to me by my best friend, Technic Tyro. I saw one review of the Jaws game and I was hooked. Although his humor doesn't strike me as funny as it did when I was 15, he still has a clever and intriguing way of mixing critical analysis and humor. Caddy's gimmick, for those of you wondering, is usually deciding whether a piece of media, usually a game, should be slaughtered with a gun or salvaged with a phaser? I don't know. Point is, he is different than a lot of reviewers in that he acknowledges that there is both good and bad in nearly every piece of media. But not only does he acknowledge that difference, he also, like the Completionist, gives it a rating that can be useful even though it's mostly used for comedy's sake. So if you want to see some of the best things about some of the worst content, or vice versa, pull up an episode or two and tell them Fedra sent you. Number 5, Jontron. Now, I know what both halves of the audience are thinking. Jontron? Who would watch that terrible, oversaturated internet dribble? Scarf flip. First off, I have no response to that other than, why did I write scarf flip into the script? Anyway, back to Jontron. No matter if you love him or hate him, Jontron has had a huge influence on game reviewing culture. From his comedy-focused style to his use of props and sets, Jontron has truly become a master of his craft. For the three of you who don't know who this is, allow me to give you a little history lesson. Jontron started out like any other internet critic. Unprofessional, unfunny, poor as dirt, probably. Wait, do you sound like they all describe me? Anyway, the point of it is, from his humble beginnings reviewing terrible games to the success of his movie critiques, Jontron has gotten deals from big brands to promote their products. Even Star Wars got in on the action by creating a show called Starcade with him, where he reviewed various Star Wars video games and a holiday special in preparation for The Force Awakens. He even got to use a Millennium Falcon set. Man, I know someday I'll be that popular. Number 4. PeanutButterGamer. Now, I know after doing a month of foolishness, some of you will be waiting for me to include some of the people I paid tribute to in that month on this list. Well, the wait is over. For those of you who didn't see my other video, car, and if I get inside, I will go far. I'm wearing shorts because I'm a white guy. Or if you've blocked that horrible memory out of your mind, PeanutButterGamer is a reviewer of bad games, a lot of which includes children's edutainment kind of games. Yes, that is a word. He also is unashamedly a Zelda fan, attributing an entire month of November to making Zelda videos. A whole month of videos? I wish I could do that. More than a reviewer though, PBG also has a second channel where he posts Let's Plays of games, things like Wind Waker, Skyrim, Fallout, and even an excellent series of Minecraft videos that are all surprisingly tense, where he and his friends only have one life each in the game and must survive long enough to beat one of the many final bosses of the game Minecraft. I actually love this particular series and have a lot of awesome and fond memories of watching this with my little sister. We both still use quotes from that first one. Oh, and Amory, if you're watching this, you are a scrub. Hashtag Anna's a scrub. Twitter spamming aside, PBG's strange and awkward sense of humor makes for a great and funny reviews, and his gaming channel is just as interesting. I would definitely say give him a watch. Okay. Number 3. Say Goodnight Kevin. Kevin is actually interesting as he didn't start out as a reviewer. Originally, he started doing those point to the camera and talky kind of things. What are they called? They're not like vlogs, but they kind of are, and sometimes they have illustrations. They're usually kind of funny, kind of monologue-ish. Wait, monovlog. Yep, that's it. We're done. We've done it, people. We've created a new word on the internet. That's a wrap. Fedra's out. Peace. Well, Kevin did those monovlog videos for a while, and I really liked them. But then one day, something happened. He did what all great internet personalities do, and the pinnacle of creativity, the paragon of entertainment, he parodied someone else. The Nostalgia Critic. More than that, though, Kevin took the formula of the Nostalgia Critic and created something different. Kevin started reviewing Christian movies. In the beginning, he called himself the Nostalgia Christian, but pretty soon he changed formats, and now not only does he review older Christian movies, but also does first impressions, analysis, and reviews of newer movies like God's Not Dead and War Room. The best thing about the series, though, is the understanding that Kevin has when it comes to how these movies are viewed and taken. Too often we confuse our products with our faith. Yet Kevin takes that understanding of products and faith and challenges people to be strong in their faith while at the same time critiquing the movies and products that either intentionally make Christian movies purely for the profit or portray Christians poorly, if by mistake only. The last thing I'll mention about Kevin is his podcast with Josh Taylor of Blimey Cow. In the podcast, they talk a lot about content creation and Christian media. And the commentary is really insightful, funny, and interesting. I've actually learned a lot from listening to it. If you're curious, it's called The Inner Tube, and you should definitely check it out and give it a listen. Or check out his channel and see what you think about this totally tubular guy. Number 2, Doug Walker's Nostalgia Critic. While the angry video game nerd may have pioneered internet reviews, Doug Walker has truly changed the game and influenced the internet with movie reviews like no other. When most people think internet reviews, they think of this guy. Or maybe the angry video game nerd, but whatever. Doug Walker created a character back in 2007 called the Nostalgia Critic. The critic's job was to review nostalgic movies, usually bad ones, mostly from the 80s and mid-90s. Any cheese-filled and cringeworthy movie was given a comedic and fair shaking. Doug eventually created a website to house his content called ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com, where himself and other internet personalities like Jontron, PBG, and Mike J could post content. Since his humble beginnings with a yellow backdrop and a low-quality camera, Doug has gone on to create a new type of show, one that is still focused on comedy, but makes more of an effort to be critical. Heck, even his show format is different now, giving comedic reviews every other week and critique and analysis the other weeks. Doug Walker and his co-creator and brother Rob have totally changed the internet reviewing game. They have done parodies, crossovers, and even website-wide movie specials, which, despite them not being that great, I still absolutely love. They even popularized TV show vlogs, where Doug and Rob sit in front of a camera out of character and give their opinion on a cartoon that they just watched. As boring as that sounds, it's actually a video I look forward to watching after I finish watching an episode of whatever show it is. In fact, it's so useful, I found my 2 favorite shows from watching their first 2 or 3 vlogs, being from Avatar: Last Airbender and Steven Universe, respectively. While I may not agree with their opinions all the time, Doug and Rob have truly set the bar high for internet critics. Honorable mentions. The Completionist. While originally on my list, I'm just not sure if he qualifies as an internet reviewer. All the reviewers on the list riff on media like in Mystery Science Theater 3000. Gerard doesn't do that. He's still one of my favorite YouTubers, and honestly, he does a lot of work to make the content that he does. For what it's worth, I would suggest giving him a watch, if only for his critical analysis. So, if you're thinking about buying a game, or if you want to know what he thinks of a game that you love, definitely tune in to The Completionist. I Hate Everything. I Hate Everything is somewhat of an enigma, someone I didn't know existed, or maybe I did, I'm not quite sure. But recently, I've discovered him, and honestly, he's very funny, very frank, but also very vulgar. Sorry, kids. I absolutely love his series, but honestly, he hasn't had a lot of influence on me, other than making me laugh on occasion and making me think really, really hard about whether or not I want to do this series due to copyright infringement. So, I guess watch him, but only if you're okay with a lot of language. Erod, the Blockbuster Buster. Erod was on the list, I promise. The Blockbuster Buster actually had a huge impact on me, and is a true testament to how hard work and dedication can get you to an awesome place like Channel Awesome. Sadly, Mike J beat him off the list, but that doesn't stop him from being a huge influencer in my early YouTube career. Actually, Erod was the very first person to ever message me on YouTube telling me thank you for subscribing to him, and honestly, that made me watch him even more, and even today, I think of him as one of the funniest, if maybe the most unprofessional of internet reviewers. Erod is still really great, and I would definitely recommend checking him out. Total Biscuit. Okay, TB is not an internet reviewer, but he is an internet critic, and honestly, more than anyone else besides my number 1 pick, he has had the biggest influence on me in terms of internet content. Sadly though, his first impressions videos don't count as your typical reviews, but let it be known that he is one of 2 YouTubers that I have ever bought merch from. Seriously, Mom, where's my Longhorn Snarkhouse shirt?
And now, the best of the internet reviewers, the number 1, the person who's influenced me, the mighty Fedra, the most is...
Lewis Lovehog or Linkara. Who is Linkara? Well, Linkara, he's a man, punch, wears a pretty hat, Linkara. He's got a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Linkara is one of those amazing internet figures that has stuck around for so long that I can't remember a time without him. Well, I can, but it was certainly a less fun time. Lewis Lovehog has been creating content since about 2008. I actually started watching him around episode 3, and I have loved every single episode he's made since. Lewis incorporates storylines, he incorporates plots, he incorporates other reviewers, things come to life, and blah blah blah, everything is attacking him, and it's absolutely gloriously cheesy and wonderful all at the same time. So what exactly does Lewis Lovehog or Linkara do? Well, Linkara is a comic book reviewer, one that wears a fedora. And yes, it was the influence for me to actually get a fedora and start reviewing things. Some of my favorite comics have actually come from recommendations he's made offhand during one of his videos. Stuff like Marvel Zombies, which he didn't really like, but I absolutely enjoyed. Or even the Batman Nightfall series, which I consider one of the best comics ever written. Even some of Frank Miller's work, who, if I know anything from watching A Shop the Fourth Wall for this long, his internet reviewing show, Frank Miller is crazy. But before he went crazy, he made an amazing series of Batman comics called The Dark Knight Returns, and they are absolutely amazing. If you don't know anything about Linkara, know this. Each one of his reviews is both funny and critical. He's been doing this so long, he's actually mastered the art of making comics come to life, and his narration is always spot on and funny. The last thing I'll note about Lewis Lovehog is his comic book reviews are uniquely his own. I've seen other reviewers try and create a plot. I've seen other reviewers be funny. But only Linkara has been able to combine these elements, create characters I actually care about, even if it's just himself in a different costume. Lewis has had a huge inspiration on my life and also on the series in general. In fact, the entire reason why I wanted to do a week of videos, or 2 weeks at this point, is that I saw in him a drive to make awesome content. And he's been doing it every week for about 7 years now. That's crazy dedication. So I figure if I can be just at least a third as good as he is, then maybe I'll be in some pretty good shape.
Well, guys, that's it. That was the first episode of The Fedra Show. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like down below and let me know what you thought of the video. Oh, also do me a favor and leave your favorite interviewer down in the comments below. Tell me why you liked them, how they inspire you, and how did you discover them? Also, if you guys find a bad movie, video game, or show, please leave it down in the comments below. Maybe I'll review it. Who knows? Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Guys,